In today's video, I'm going to show you how you would generally assemble an Aiclo pattern. Here I've printed it out already, and you'll always get this first page, which has a test square. And as you can see, it says 10 by 10 centimeters, which means you have to measure it 10 by 10, and if it measures more or less, it means that your printer doesn't have the correct settings. That's why it's really important to just print this first page at first. So don't print the rest of the pattern, just print this one. Here you have more specific instructions on how to print it, but just make sure it measures 10 by 10 centimeters. And once you're sure about that, you can print the rest of the pattern. So your Aiclo patterns will always have this page, which is a layout, and it varies depending on the garment you're going to be making and the size, because that obviously changes how many papers you need to print. In my case, for this dress, I printed out 20 papers, including this two at first, but I think there's only 18 pages that I actually have to assemble, and I'm going to use this layout to assemble it completely. There's different ways of cutting your pattern to assemble it, but lately my favorite one, because it's the quickest, is just trimming off all four corners on all papers. So I'm going to show you more close up on how I do it, and you have to do that for every page. Okay, so your pattern pages will look something like this. These lines are just the pattern, which, as I said, vary depending on what you're printing. But you always have this outline over here. As you can see, it's a really light grayish line all around, and that's just an extra piece of paper left on every pattern, so you can place one on top of the other. So what I'm going to do is trim off the corners, as I said, like this. Making sure to cut exactly where the corner of this margin meets like the scissor. And I'm going to do that for all papers, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've trimmed off every corner on all of the pattern papers, and now we just start assembling. I'm going to be using tape, but you could use whatever you'd like. You could also use glue. And here's where this comes in. We're going to assemble from 1 to 5, from 6 to 10, to 11 to 15, and from 18 to 20. As you can see, 16 and 17 doesn't have any pattern pieces on them, so that means that wasn't printed out. But this also has these numbers over here, so you know what goes with what. So this is page 1. It says to match with 2, which is this one, and this one says to match with 1. So this also have these guides to help you out. And now you just match the corners on the top and on the bottom, like this. Okay, so I have my first and second row assembled completely, and I'm going to show you how you're going to assemble these two, but you're also going to repeat that to assemble the rest of the rows. So it's the same as we did assembling this. We're going to place one on top of the other and match the corners as perfectly as we can, and use our tape again. And now I just have to assemble the rest of the rows, and I'll be right back. Okay, so my pattern is fully assembled. I'm going to try to show you how it looks, since it's a little bit big to show on camera. But here's my front panel, my back, and the sleeve. So now I just have to cut around everything, and I'll have 3 pattern pieces.